please proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The witness is being brought in.
Thank you.
Welcome back, Mr. Witness.
Bismillah. Thank you very much.
Before the break, you were telling us how you were correcting some of the rights violations that were made. By the Jammeh government, by reinstating some officers who were dismissed. Correct?
That's correct.
You also told us about instances where you offered advice and contrary views for positions taken by Jammeh to dismiss certain officers.
That is in several circumstances. I have not mentioned some of them, and I want to believe that they are very key here, if you would allow me to mention, because my mind comes to reflect on them now.
Hakilo boto lalembedi am kantu momena bari nata je ko wolu ila ko kuma yata bakene ko wolu kono bitu ninna ta silo soto bulde mbe wol dolu fulale kato ila ko akuma yata ko ngefo.
Could you go ahead? And let's make it short. We have other issues to cover.
Another incident is when he asked me to give him the names of all those who are serving at the tourism industry, TDA.
And that is from Sila Loco. Memu Bebe Doko la TDA, William Tuba, Lunta Ulatan in Mafan Kamadamen, Bruno Be Todiala.
I prepared a list.
Nakaito in Safe?
I thought it was going to be a good news for me. There were about 124. They were all dismissed. I found very uncomfortable. And this is something that I have to fight for their possible reinstatement. It has taken me over almost a month. To see him was a problem. I went to him and I explained to him. Quite 75% of those that are dismissed were recruits. He was personally selected by me. They were deployed, personally identified by me. Why I want to be involved in that case? I instructed the commander of the PIU then to provide me with names of officers that are very decent. And are completely drug free. And I beg your pardon? Are completely drug free. He conducted the selection. And I said before their deployment, I want to come and address them. Some of the members I discovered are not decent. And I have reasons to believe that they take drugs. I said no way. let everybody fall in here.
And
I was the one because I've been their commander. And I have interaction with several of them during their training. I always go to the training school to give them lectures. Also time on human rights issues and investigative matters. So I have to go to him and then appeal to him that these officers are one of my best officers. And then I've spent a lot on them. For 10 good months we were on the training. Because when I came in, I changed the training syllabus from 5 months to 10 months. So to me, it is very unfair at that time. I know something must have happened. But I always want to narrow it down to a particular person. And this was, he never disclosed to me what had happened. That's why I made a global appeal. There were 121 of them were reinstated. These are people who are under my responsibility to promote. That means they are all less than chief inspector and below. But senior officers, 3 of them, it has to take a process.
The bottom line here is you pleaded with Jame for their reinstatement. And he accepted. So in fact, in some instances when people pleaded with him, he would accept.
Well, I don't know, because many people come here and say they choose his bad mood or good mood. For me, the moment you hit me, I will react. I don't look normally look at the condition in which I'm going to find him. But my interest is to make sure that my people are not unlawfully terminated.
But Mr. Witness, you would agree with me that in spite of all this, human rights violations continue to happen even within the police under your watch.
Even if it happens,
could you take that again?
I'm not saying, because officers, when you send officers out, you cannot monitor everything that they are doing, because there are people responsible of their welfare and management. But
it was still within the knowledge of the management of the police that human rights violations were happening within the police.
Yes, that's also why that leads me, because when I assumed office, the first thing that I did is to create complaints. Discipline was there, but I created human rights office.
Ha umuto nyalti birinte muruta nan mol kata wasi bulla men police la kala ubujele barinte nata bunda dada melondi me yalonko wolle be lola hadama ya nyanta tinyalu kunna.
All public complaints are filed in that office.
Jama mol la wasi dalu be ka safe office on.
And then actions taken.
And
principal among the human rights violations were unlawful detentions.
Yes, that's definitely unlawful detention is a violation.
And it used to happen in the police.
I will not dispute that fact.
And it used to happen under your watch.
When I was the IG, but not directly under my watch, because they have supervision. They have supervisors at different locations.
Brimu IGT akake barbitungulu imantara ntela maroni ya maro koto ko ibente fongole koto ka anyanta kala nyamin ka belari ntela koto.
But of course, Mr. Witness, you know that that would not absolve you of responsibility. If it happened under your watch as IGP, you are responsible ultimately.
In order
to avoid that responsibility, that's the reason why I created the Human Rights Office, for people to have chance to complain. Matters will look after.
But when you nyama wala nanfana natani official lundi meni alonko wulebe bulala hadamaya nyanto kunyalu noma ni mumendi nata wasidala je.
Yes, that may have been the case. Right, but what would have been more effective would be a position on your part that would prevent these rights violations from happening. Don't you think that is the case?
The best way to do is to include human rights this thing in the curriculum.
Memma be kukendo diwalam hadamaya alhagadu hadamaya nyantolu tukumo londi ila kulu Kenya lukono.
But wouldn't it be more effective also to have standard operating procedures that would prevent rights violations from happening?
Of course, I want to believe that if you look at the files correspondence from the IGP's office to regional commissioners, you will see quite a number of warnings, memos, of or detaining people for a longer duration than necessary.
Yeah, but nile kaitolu jamaju be failo lumenu kabonte la karola katani police nyato nkoli ya commissioner lumenu dinkiralu to kata dandalaro lu katana je menu bambanta aniya amerikawlu menu katana ko kaitolu balan kamenki itolie pour ñin kamala isi hakilotu ñanta ko lumenu korosila pour ñanta ko lu tamandi la ñamira do ko.
I have given you a name, and I did so purposely for reasons of privacy. I would circulate it to the chair and the deputy chair. This person was detained. You are aware of it? And this person was unlawfully detained? Correct?
Don't mention the name. This person was detained.
Okay. Just answer the questions.
Yeah.
Unlawfully?
Well, I will say unlawfully.
In excess of the statutorily allowed limit.
Yes, that's true.
And that's a violation of the person's rights. Let's be gender neutral here.
Yeah, definitely.
It happened during your watch.
Yes, it happened during my watch, but
just
if you also ask the person, the person will tell you what I've accorded.
Yes, yes.
But to yala kitana maralu uchi wala ko
passing.
But niamari fufana nyini ka ba fule yemme ntena simfalu menuta puru kaje ko ala kule bonyoto.
I make sure that the
Mr. Witness, you would accept. I mean, at a particular level, general courtesy would be accorded to one another. with that. Basic courtesy would be accorded to one another.
Yes, but it's very unusual for the IGP to come down and doing everything. That person.
Pro IGP foye jinang kana kulu dolu tamandi bundalula manyalon ko belori.
But what I'm trying to drive at here is that there was a blatant violation of a person's right, and the IGP was aware of it.
President de bunda men no masata kan no maka wala mindi go filan go fele misal fe mo fele jame alon ko iya muta ya sindi black li ala nyanto tinya andum membe marali mo kordal mem IGP ti aya kala mutale.
And the IGP did not do anything to stop or to end the violation of the rights.
Andum IGP ni mem police lo kundon ko de korda ni ngona yamon ku kata ku ke pour ka je ko o mari nyina nyanto nyina tinya pour ka dankala.
True or false? Let's start from there.
To nya fofania.
Yes, I did not do much to get the person out.
Ha kuba tamandi pour ka je amari ya bomu tokon.
Because I was only asked to take custody of her.
Let's be gender neutral. But this is precisely the point. This is another violation of rights. You are not, as IGP, you are not just a custodian of people for the head of states to come and say, keep this person for me. It's not like being a herdsman and you are given a cow to keep. The IGP is the Inspector General of Police and cannot act in that capacity for the President. You agree with that?
Kake IGP the police la nyato ko te keno la nyindi do yetara dingira nyindo bidame to yalon ko president bina la mona ta ko nyimuta jangali asindinya amanke ko bukata wo nyama itel mu IGP the police la kundon koti amanke ni si koro de yalon ko ba fala ko moyna ta ko ni so ta ya mutanye jam o nyama ko bukata wo nyama.
Probably things are not going that way, the way it should have gone. But then, at the level of me, personally, this is not the only situation. There are a lot of situations.
Let's focus on this one first. I have an important reason for bringing these things out.
Yes.
Authority is not to be abused. No. Authority is not to be abused. Authority is to be exercised in accordance with law, and it has to be exercised judiciously. You agree with that? It was a blatant violation of rights. It was also abuse of authority for the president just to show, keep this person for me here. That is a blatant violation of rights, you would agree?
I will agree that that's a violation of right.
You would also agree that it ought not to have happened.
Yes.
You would agree with me that in a democracy, the IGP should have said, Mr. President, you are asking me to violate this person's rights. And under the Constitution, I am obliged to protect this person's rights.
Mr. President,
in a democracy, this is what ought to have happened.
I cannot remember exactly the facts of that matter.
Yeah, hold on a second. Council, there's a lot of exchange going on between the two of you in the abstract. Can we see the list that, so yes, would be in the picture?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair, for that.
A lot of abstract discussion, avoiding gender, avoiding this, avoiding that, and we don't know what you're talking about.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you.
But you would agree with me that in a democracy, the IGP should have informed the president that you are asking me to violate the rights of a person, and under the law I am obliged to protect the rights of that person. In a democracy.
That's right. I personally made several efforts. If I remember, I think this is about...
don't give us the facts.
Yeah.
Don't give us the facts, because it may disclose the person's name.
So I met, I approached the, I went to the Aegis Chambers. This was in the form of a white paper. And the white paper was sent to Aegis Chambers for a review, and then the instruction comes. I made several attempts. I have a personal relationship with the person. It's not because of my relationship with the person that I made that move. The person is my birth cousin. So I made several efforts.
That does not change the fact that the person's rights were violated.
The moment you are detained more than necessary, your rights have been violated.
Well, Mr. Witness, it's not being detained beyond more than necessary. It's being detained more than the allowed limits on the law.
Quite right.
I bring these things out to show that public officers are not required to implement unlawful orders, irrespective of where they come from.
That's right.
And you should not have done it even though the orders came from the president. Do you agree with that?
I always, as I said...
I know you made efforts, but let's put aside the efforts. The bottom line is, it should not have happened.
That I agree.
By making it happen, you also contributed to violating the law. In spite of the efforts you have made, by making it happen.
If I want to contribute, I would not have made several efforts. And not only this person, but quite a number of them. I choose where is comfortable for them.
Hana manke nyimari damante ni ala ko na manke otinu nte katakulu kela bari na katakulu kele andu amanke nyimari damante hana manke ofo fananti nka jubele imari nyolu si daha soto dame
if we follow that, you would see that there was an animal farm wherein some people received better treatment than others, depending on their status in society and personal relationships with the officers entrusted with their care. Which by itself is still bad because it's discrimination.
I qualify my last statement by telling you that I did not do it because I'm related to the person.
Okay.
And that's why I went further to tell you several other people that I don't even know.
I agree with that. And understand the objective here. Our mantra here is never again shall these things happen in our country. Our president is a public officer whose primary responsibility is to uphold the Constitution and to ensure that those officers under him also respect and uphold the Constitution. So we are doing this exercise so that all of us would learn from the mistakes of the past. Undoubtedly, in the discharge of public functions, there were a lot of good men. And there were a lot of good men who did a lot of good things. But even among those good men, some of them did wrong. It still does not absolve them of responsibility. And unless we bring these things out, we will not learn from them. It was wrong for the president to order the detention of this person beyond the statutorily allowed limits. You agree?
I agree with the rest of the people.
In fact, under the laws of this country, it's only judicial officers who are empowered by law to detain people beyond the statutorily allowed limit. I think the TV is frozen. Or the pictures are frozen. No, I am alive and kicking. You would agree with that?
Yes, of course.
Okay. And therefore, what would you advise the Inspector General of Police if the President were to give him or her, whosoever IGP is, if the president were to give him or her an unlawful order?
I don't think what had happened will ever happen in this country.
Mr. Witness, you have not answered my question.
Yes, I will continue. My advice to the IGP that nobody should give instructions, or they should not accept any instruction from anybody.
Thank you very much, Mr. Witness. Let's now move on to the issue of the Ghanaians. You returned to Gambia in 2007.
Not to interrupt, but before we leave the last issue, can the witnesses mention a list that he gave to Jammeh of 124 individuals, I believe he said in the terrorist sector.
In the terrorist sector.
That's the third reference he's made to a list that he had given to Jammeh. Can he include in what you requested by Wednesday to give us copies of those lists?
Correspondence.
And if we can do it in writing to him, so he would not, I believe he would deliver, but to be sure that we requested those things for our own records as well.
Legal counsel in Karok, Kaito Mengamealonko, Udo Kula Mumu, Anin Nano, Tobe Damen, many alonko, Kobu, Kuala Nuntua, Lunta Tanina, Ma Dinkira Leto, Fonsi Tony Soto, Wairi, Kaito Don Bijel, Lakumo Fotabari, Ninton was in Kaito Men from Balafasi, Fanala Faji, Purin Kamala, he basically said they are Kaito Lukono Sulatan Menunaja.
I'm not sure whether that document may be available at the headquarters. But what I know is that the list was submitted to me by their commander, and then it was General Baji that he sent, and I delivered that list to him. All the officers are still, quite a number of them are alive, and I even met one of them being part of the officers here just a few minutes ago. He came to greet me. So the officers are 124, but 121 are reinstated.
Yes.
The 3 others are not. I'm not sure whether the list, because the list was submitted to me, I was in a hurry, and I gave it to General Baji and I gave it to him. But I know their dismissal reads all their names. Probably you will see that. We can get that from the headquarters. The list that are submitted may not be available because I want to believe that I don't make copy of that. But his reaction to the dismissal, that is obvious that it should be available at the police headquarters.
Listo woto no kaito membala amam ko im mafabata la police korda bato sai kato nyin kamala birin kaito nyin nata anyamu to natan kanne adum birafuta tamman tafana nata kaito le cikanga di general bajila bitu ye kolu tambindi ye tentendi wala nyama bar bitu hanimbi ngalon ko tolu men ya lon ko isafeta wanya wumu anin nano atolu asekeno ye tara police la korda bato la kitabu bala kato inata mo muan anin kilimu be murundi la palaso lutole mokeme mo muan anin kilimu inata be murundi ila palaso lutole birin wo koketa.
As I said, that was the third list that you referred to. We can get the others as well.
Wala mkaiti sabanja uta memfo mulu tolbe jamen nisi dulu fana lusoton no.
Okay, I will find out from the headquarters.
Mbakatala na ko nyininka kabo korda banyin.
It should be filed there. I don't. The file that I received, including their name that I sent, probably may not be available, but his response to dismiss them may be available in the office.
We will provide you the request in writing, so you know exactly what we are looking for from your testimony here. Thank you very much. Counsel, you may continue.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Mr. Witness, you did say that you became CMC in 2009.
Yeah, that's correct.
CMC 2009
I want to believe you are mistaken. Take a look at this document. You would agree that this is a document from where? State House, isn't it?
Yes, this should be late 2008.
Let's say that as per this letter, a task force was established by Gambia government and a support team to the task force to deal with the UN-AU delegation that was to come to Gambia to investigate the issue of the West African migrants who were killed in this country.
be blol dun nyobulu me alon ko bina kiskisiro la banku kanjang kula me alon ko wollem bang Africa la intelligence dala banku dingo mol me alon ko yefa Gambia banku kanjang ka kiskisi.
Yes.
And this letter is dated 4th September 2008.
Letter on lum men na safere wollem September karoti lindani 2008.
Correct?
Tonya?
Correct.
And in the letter,
letter on kono.
You are included as a member of the task force support team.
You are
number 3 rather on the support team list. And you are listed as crime management coordinator. So by this, it means therefore that before September 4th, 2008, you were already CMC.
2008
You agree with that?
Yeah, I agree with that.
That's good. And by this letter, it shows that the government took the visit of this delegation very seriously. Just looking at the task force that were set up, shows that the government included very high-profile people in the task force. Could you read out the membership?
I did not see, Councillor, I did not see this letter.
You did not see it before?
I've never seen this letter. All that I know is that I'm instructed that I'm selected and I should go there.
I am not surprised that you did not see it. Because the letter would have been addressed, at least the one that went to the police would have been addressed to the IGP. Do you agree?
But it's copied to IGP.
Precisely my point. And it would be for the IGP to instruct you. And it was the IGP who instructed you.
He called me that I should be part of that task force. I should report to the ministry on a particular date.
Do you have any reason to doubt the authenticity of this letter?
Well, since I am part of it and is very clear, and I also form part of the task force, I have no reason to disbelieve.
Could you read out the names of the members of the task force?
The composition of the task force, is as follows. Secretary General Office of the President.
Secretary General President Office.
Secretary of State for Interior.
Secretary of State
Secretary of State for Justice.
Secretary of State
Secretary of State for Foreign Affairs.
Secretary of State
Inspector General of Police. Director General of the NIA.
Director General
of Defense Staff. Support team. Malamin Sise. Numo Kujabi. Yankuba Sonko. Ali Jabang. Ibrahim Drame. Assis Haidara.
Good.
And Awaba.
Mr. Chair, we asked to put this letter in evidence. It should be Exhibit 27, Exhibit 207.
Request granted, Counsel.
Thank you very much. Mr. Witness, before you return, yes, you want to say something?
I'm not sure whether I'm the right person to tender this particular document. Because I've never seen this document, even though I believe in his genuinity. But it's still not been, to me, it's not been tendered through me. If it is the procedure, I wouldn't mind also.
I think you have answered the question.
Indeed.
Technically, in a trial, there has to be that connection between the person and the document tendered.
Thank you.
The Commission of Inquiry is the master of his own procedures. So that answered your question.
Thank you.
I am happy with the fact that you have raised this issue. But the mere fact that you are comfortable with the document and the fact that there is no reason to doubt its authenticity is in fact good reason why we should put it in. And this also saves time. Because if we were to call a witness before you, just to put in this document, a lot of time would have been wasted.
It's good that we save time.
That's right. And I say this also because law students are watching and they would want to ask the question, why are we putting this document in when it's not going through the right person? Thank you very much. But you also worked with those people who are on the list.
The task force members, I think it's only the briefing that some of them, I cannot remember, but I know quite a senior officers were on the task force briefing, and then the rest were the support team.
Nlatala ko menu be kafonyi fankono menu mo kundo nkoluti kachanyi ketale pour ka kul boy nyoto bari wo kola fana wo mako er kafonte be menu kono del fana nata no telekom.
So during this period you worked with those members of the support team.
Yes.
Before you returned to Gambia in 2007, did you hear about the killing of Ghanaians and West African migrants in the country?
Of course, that was in the public domain. I read a lot of newspapers on that issue. While it's in UK. When I came back, nobody talked about it.
But what was it that was in the public domain?
Actually, I will not say exactly what it is, but my perception is that migrants were killed and they were 8 in number.
But it was also in the public domain that over more than 8 West African migrants were killed. In fact, 56 West African migrants.
Yes, that was also on the public domain.
In fact, I have here a press statement by the current president of Ghana, This was a press release.
Kibar kaito soda jam yalon ko abota Ghanaian ol sign president o yalon ko abota wala la
And the first bullet point in the press statement is that about 56 West Africans comprising about 42 Ghanaians, 10 Nigerians, 2 Senegalese, etc. were killed in the Gambia.
I
have no information of that.
But you know that Gambia government was in denial.
Yes.
And it was denying that more than 8 people were killed in the Gambia.
Yeah, that denial I'm aware.
The government was also in denial about responsibility for the 8 who were killed.
And on Gambia Masakunda Mbelu Fana Balanda Ninako, Yumanke, Mankang Dunoti, no say or Memfata in Gambia Banco.
In Ghana town.
Ghana town Satokon.
I have no information to that.
The government denied that those people were killed by government security forces.
Masakunda Mbelu Balanda Ninako Kafuko Natanko Bunda Mul Ulfa.
I only know about the circumstances which, when you went through with Madam Nsise yesterday, to me is just a cover-up. But I only knew about that, the number, and then their response to that allegation.
Mutumole munata lo mo yirko nanga momenti anim fanan ila kulu keta nyamin bring ye mutajang.
And also immediately after the departure of the former president,
anim fanan bring member president yala jamnum bra botajang dorom.
I ordered to the CDS for the arrest of some junglers. When those junglers were escorted to me, to the CMC, intermittently I popped into CMC's office to find out what the details. I remember the tall guy from Trrc was telling the rest of the people to tell the truth. And he led my officers to identify all that are responsible of different crimes. That's the only time that I know a lot of things has happened. I look at them as if they are not human beings. When they started narrating, I moved out because I could not take it. I only asked the CMC to bring, at the end of the day, to bring the report to me. And he has done that. I have the copy of that here.
You want to share that with us? Mr. Chair, this is an interim report on missing persons.
Mr.
And could you tell us who prepared the report and to whom it was sent? Well, it is signed on behalf of panelists by Chief Superintendent of Police Fake Badabo.
And the mayor signed panel Toyala, Willem Chief Superintendent of Police Fake Badabo. Will I sign it Toyala?
To whom was it addressed?
I requested for it.
Okay. All right, but you would agree it's not on a letterhead, so...
No, but I requested for it, because I do not continue listening to some of this. It's very, very shocking, and I said, let them give me the listing. Because this is from people who have done those atrocities, and they are not that much remorseful in the way they talk.
Mbukallam moyno wala wala nan kafindi ka nyiri ben sata kantu menna abele ko man nimisa akola yo ko mino jibe akaduntela la wala akan mbuka pare pour kallam moyna ko wala bari ntela ngakani pour yenyin kibaro dinna.
Mr. Chair, if this document is accepted, it should be Exhibit 207A.
Kiaman ninga dara isonda nyin letter o nyin kayto nyi report o nyin dunda abekela CDR mi alon ko abekela numero men dolen 208.
But when did you order these investigations?
It should be immediately. Maybe Fakeba must have signed
the date.
The date.
Look
at the last page.
Fakeba ala sign robe damin we kaiti la bango jube. Pruais alumsilo.
Did he state the date?
22 March 2017.
March 2017.
This is 3 months post-Jame.
But the investigations was on for that up to that point. Yes, immediately after Jame's departure that I instructed. Because my fear at that time is that quite a number of them will leave the jurisdiction if they are not controlled.
Before the fall of Jame? You agree?
I don't think I know. I can only say I know one Jongula. And I come to know him when he came to my office. He's Nyabali.
When did he come to your office?
I don't remember vividly, but that was my first contact with the Jongula.
Why did he come to you?
He came and he said he has an accident with his vehicle. And the vehicle is badly damaged. He has been going up and down to traffic. And nothing happens. So I decided to call the Commissioner Fadia, inquire about the accident. Then Fadia told me that the file is almost ready.
Did he ever come to your office about the case of the Ghanaians?
No. He came when I instructed Fadia to make sure that the matter is put before the court.
Let us just move on. Those details are not really very important.
No, it's very important.
Okay,
something happened after that.
Okay, what's
and then it's also important that the commission knows what happened thereafter. After 2 weeks, he came to my office to thank me that he is compensated about 250,000 for the wrecked vehicle. Why I want to mention this thing? Sometime in 14 or 15, I was coming from my house in Jabang. That's where I'm building. Still building it. I was driving a Pajero, although the number is not IGP1. I changed my number plates to different regions. Because for the fact that my vehicle is well known, IGP1, you know IGP is here. So I applied for about 7 number plates of all the regions. So I was coming from my house, not quite far from the estate junction. Just around 10 o'clock, I saw about 6 people dressed in civil, but I can see a rifle by their sides. I decided to link onto the 2, because 2 on this one side and 4 on the other side. I lowered my front glass. Then somebody in the mask said, "Oga, move, 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 move." To me, the person doesn't want the rest of the people to know it's me. Because I'm not used to him, I don't know the voice. But I managed to drive, and then after a certain distance I put off my lights, and I was going into until somewhere around, I was going to Sukuta, but then I ended up pulling out around Olindum. I was but I still I comport myself to off my lights and then drive in the dark. Only the small lights were on. Then I had my own thinking. Because when he came to my office and he was moving out, my only, who is presently with me here, came into my office, said, "Do you know this man? He's one of the junglers." I said, "He's a jungler. I think what I did is good too, because he came to complain and I refer him to traffic, and I think he's going to be looked after." I want to believe that this is the person who was telling me to quickly, because I did a favor to him, I did a favor for him. I'm not sure, but I want to believe that he's the person. This is why I want I've never seen them before.
You see, all these, when you saw them at the CMC's office, you wondered whether these were human beings.
CMC office.
So even these seemingly evil people can sometimes extend courtesy and kindness to people. And when you ask them, they will tell you, "I'm a good man. Ask this person, I have done this help for him." But even before this time, in 2014, you knew that there were a group of people called junglers in this country.
In 2014,
I have been hearing black, but not junglers. Because when I came from UK, one of my officers who was with a PIU officer before and transferred to the State House. Is this Solo Jiba? I think I was told that he's black.
Black.
Yes. But I don't know of jonglers until recently.
Mike.
As recent as 2014.
2014
But it was known that these black were committing crimes.
I don't know of the crime that they committed at the time until it's disclosed to me. But I know they are very rough. They have series of encounters with my officers at checkpoints.
But now
most of the time, officers at checkpoint will come and they say, these people just bang on their signboard and then drove off.
Nyimolu kanale do yetaw yennaw jorawlu taki lanya men ka kesino ka yetambi tela hajo.
When you call the army, because I always tell the commissioners to talk to the operation commander of the police, who will talk to the operation commander of the army, but they always say they are not under our control.
Ninko police la operation commander ye diamu soldier la operation commander ye ni commandiro ke wati won fanal ka fana ko nyilu mantarante lamaro ko to de.
So that's how they are.
Molu do le nyama num.
Did they ever tell you under whose control they were?
They always say State House, but I want to believe that they are directly under General Baji and the former president.
State House but until later General Baji President
and you know, not by destroying the equipment you have on your checkpoints, they would have destroyed government property.
Police ko bagasul men landi mano kanjo checkpoint ol to kawul tinya o mum kulati wum tinya la dem yalon ko e masakunda la fengol tinya.
Of course, sometimes they don't even always stop in that, they open fire. That is for possible pursue. Because when they know that, because sometimes when they are dealing in drugs and they reach the checkpoint, they will always open fire so that the police will fan back and they will run. Because that's our belief that they are onto drug peddling.
Katu nyimolu kalamu siyata hani drug sira fenja ulu kataman ladu nibe sila fason kang ifitatanga mulu malanya to hana bukada nyina ko lanya nyin taki wala katinya ikakido bondi ka fay puli nyin kamala wayre ka nyimmi ko na mulu be bulale no male ke bayindi wodali wole ya sabu ikaw ke pour ka boriyeta.
All three examples you have given are violations of the law.
Of
course.
Have you ever caused these things to be investigated and prosecuted?
Answer, I did not.
Why?
You try to find out under whose command they are. You find it very tough to know who they are. So they are there. I know they should be under the command of the CDS. But if the CDS, because as the IG, if you want to investigate anything, you have to let the CDS know and release that person to come. But if the CDS is saying they are not under my command, it's difficult to know.
Pour ka fanyi molu laftale pour que ije wala ke ilondi silo kan fereti je fonga akumo futandi CDS ma memu la kundon koti ni CDS fonga ra ka foko nyilu mantara ntela kama koto mantara na maro koto silang ebe ku intilin na jumane la awole ko kole yandi.
For me, those that are under my command,
tela karola menu ben koto
if there is any problem, I'll get them.
Were you afraid to investigate the state guards for the violations they have committed, not just of the law, but against your own people?
isila talabang pour ka instead gatol nyinke la kul kisi hana manke nyinde pour luala karo kamanon bari ida fa wala do kulalla tango kam.
I will not say I am afraid. What I want to believe is that I don't think I can.
Why?
If you want to wage a battle that you know you are going to lose, there is no need for you to wage that war.
So you
It's certain to me that if I request any of them, I may likely replace them.
You are afraid for your own self.
Not only for my own self, because I will give directives as the Inspector General of Police. Only give directives. But my directives are going to be carried by some people. And I don't want to subject those people to those type of harassment.
And no kanodila menu la menu ba no masatala malafi uleta du mantoro kono nibula tanyi mola kono.
It was certain to me that they will not win that war. I have situations.
Why do you describe it as a war?
I think I'm just using that war thing because I'm just saying you cannot, if you know that you are not going to win a war, why wage a war?
I
know there will not be any success. And there is no need for me to go.
I am sure you chose your words very carefully. You're a seasoned police officer, also a lawyer. You use your words very carefully. You use the word war advisedly. No, you used it advisedly. I don't think that is what I said, but I cannot interpret what I said in my so we leave it at that. But you, in fact, you're just expressing the challenge involved and the difficulty involved in you doing your job during that time.
Yes, that's right.
And in fact, you did not do your job in that regard because you needed to preserve yourself and also your own safety and security and that of your men.
Yes, my concentration is more on my men. If you hit my men also, I react. I wouldn't mind going home. I wouldn't mind going home for that. Me, it's better not to than to go and then and get your people involved in a lot of things that you cannot get them out of. For me, the
issue here is more about the environment, the status quo that existed at the time, where we had entities and forces that we are not subjected to the law.
Definitely, there are entities that are above the law at that time. I personally had few of my officers detained at the NIA. And one of them is a senior officer. He's a commissioner of police. I have to go personally.
But
But what I was told is that they were investigating something. But they should have contacted me and then asked me, then if I want to hand over that person to them, I can hand over that person to them. But I don't know of the circumstances, no information, no nothing, and you pick them and they are there with you.
Ning denyanto mari dile telanu mba dile la lenu tumbo nata wala nyanta kala bari kuma manfonye imam bondi ku kalama iman saranna yewlu mutane anyama do wadiyate to nyame.
This is the person of Commissioner Jata.
Wala kata moti ka fume Commissioner Jata
and the author of that listing Fakeba Dabo.
And mayo kaito sign ka fume Fakeba Dabo.
Then Fakeba was a superintendent.
Fakeba was superintendent lady.
On a flimsy report that was filed against him by another police officer.
And in police do kula do le fananata kuma furi safia la koto do mpru nyanta mutalamenka.
Tell me, Mr. Witness, should a police complaint against a fellow policeman be a matter that should go to the NIA?
Police anyon police kusoro me anongo kole akole da maltema ainana kuota aya bole NIA fo nyan labang
amanyan kila.
It's wrong.
In
fact, that to me, NIA should not handle any complaints.
NIA
I was with the police when the special branch was on.
Police bring Bunda Kafune special branch. Me along ko ila ba fayen.
Of the special branch.
NIA amunta ejenu chokinda to special branch la Karola.
Special branch never operate like that.
Special branch bukela do ko tamandi no nyama.
Even among us, we don't know some of them.
Nanin telephone ko man do no ikolofan.
They operate clandestinely.
Ikela do ko tamandi ifayenne.
Their duty was only to file their report, not to arrest.
And we tell them ko munyeti ko nin ku keta ya safe yo kibaro na.
I don't know.
But nin sembo table pour ka momuta.
How this was changed.
Mana along with Falinta Nyadile.
I want to also blame the lawmakers.
But he left a Luadala 2 million Carola.
Because they have gone to the extent of mandating, giving mandate to investigate to the NIA.
That we tattle a handful of Tatalo Blato, Purka Kalo, and in Sembo di NIA, la Kiskisuro la Carola.
From the degree to act of parliament.
Abu Bunda do la Catahan for the Bulu Fola.
So that's the situation.
You would agree with me, you've mentioned earlier, that the investigations of the killing of the West African migrants was a government cover-up.
Well, when facts are known now, it's a cover-up, definitely, by all circumstances.
But even that time, when this task force was set up, it was known that it was a cover-up, especially within the circles of police.
Probably it will be done by people who are here at the time and they know the facts. I don't know the facts. All the I know is that some migrants were killed here.
But
the circumstances of their killing and the report that you read yesterday or just the day before yesterday, this was a big surprise because when you are going through the report, I was also watching and this is terrible.
Andu molu la mutanya anina tefa nyami intela bua kalama wone birin kunun ko be kaito karankanjang aketanyen tere makubati me yalon ko en nokuya.
I did not go through all the reports.
Atu kibaro lu menu be safia ko to molu be karan.
I look at it as a report.
Ngaju be ko mu kibaro tinyanta mandundila.
I think I went through the introduction. But I had contact with this report in 2009.
Bari kibaro aladuno was 2009.
But, Mr. Witness, even those who participated in the earlier cover-up were part of your support team.
I only know about that when you read these things to me. I know they are part, all the people that are mentioned here are part of the task force, but when I look at this thing, I now reflect on the membership. But I think I'm the only person who was not here at the time.
Bili ya karanjanne men bebe task force min kono bijele bar bitu wari utuma mantala banko kan bili ko wanyar taten non nata along ko ni lata nyame ani menu ba kono.
During these investigations, you had cause to ask for the diary of Bara.
I want to make clarification on that. There was no investigation as far as I'm concerned. My task is to make available certain documents to the UN team, UN ECOWAS team.
Facilitate
the conduct of their investigation.
But at this time you knew that Gambia government denied that more than 8 Ghanaians were arrested in this country.
As
I said, I'm never aware of that. Well, all I know is that I know confirmed that 8 migrants were killed here. The denial aspect of it, I'm not opportune to see that. Probably I was not here at the time.
But you did say earlier that you knew that the government denied.
No, I said I knew that these Ghanaians were killed, and you went further to ask me whether I know the Ghanaians denied. I said I confirm that foreign nationals are killed here, and they are 8 in number, but the denial of the government, that I don't know.
Well, it is quite worrisome and shocking that you would be appointed to this position and you did not even know what the government position was.
Which position are you referring to?
Whether government accepted or denied.
Which position, my current position or my previous position?
Your previous position at the time as CMC appointed to this task force.
Maybe government, this is a policy matter, and then I'm on a personal side.
But you asked for the diary from Bara, correct?
I am to submit that to the
Who asked you to submit it to the UN investigation?
It is said whatever they requested. That's what we should make available to them.
Yes.
Then I call back.
But who asked you to give them the diary? For Bara?
No, because I was the one coordinating, and I have no specific instruction as to do this, do this.
So you believed that the diary from Bara would be necessary, correct?
Yeah, because I look at the amnesty or the Martin Kerr's report, and he mentioned certain places, and I requested those diaries.
Well, Martin Kerr ala dia woko no moya da menufo. So I dinkiralu menufo da liwe ya sabullata la ko to dinkiralu ni wonu momo kunya tata la safari ni la ko to jele wala no dari lu kanu.
So who did you ask for the diary for Bara?
I tried to find out from Bara station as to whether the diary of that date is available, and I was referred to Jawara Demba. Then Jawara Demba said, let me ask Babukar Ba. I called Babukar Ba, he came to my office.
Didn't you find it odd that you will ask all these people and they would still continue to refer you to some other people?
Birna ko yininka wotumo Jawara Demba e kono yininka na Jawara Demba fana yininka Jawara Demba fana ko na Babukar Ba yininka botumo lem legal council ka fo nyinte kele fe ka kuti puruka e be soundin na ka fo kar yininka.
Of course.
What did it raise in your mind?
What raised my for me, I think they are just shifting responsibilities to each other.
Ndila mira roto amonde be dunonye sounding kan kala nyokan.
That's at that time.
Wotembo.
But why?
Well, I may not know the reason at that time. But now I know the reason.
During that time, you called Ba.
And
what was the conversation?
I came to my office and I asked him about the diary. And he said, sir, this diary was requested by the Honorable Minister of Interior some years ago.
Minister Martabanko Kankunya Lawin diary can Sanjidanta Commando.
And it should be with him.
At
this stage,
Intendant,
what was your reason for wanting the Bara diary?
For me, I think it's going to be, because it's mentioned. I only rely on because the complaint must have come from either Amnesty International or Martin Kerr. So I went to Martin Kerr's extract of his statement from the Amnesty International.
But why was the diary relevant? I am sure Martin Kerr would not tell you about the diary in Bara. Why was the diary relevant as far as you concerned? Don't overlap.
Yes. I thought at that time this is going to be one of the issues, because if they are coming to investigate, it's obvious that they will reach to all these places or they request diaries of that.
Amnesty International la kanindiloti bari nata je ko to minno mulu nata ila sula dalu aninya ntafuta la damenuto o betarle la kolu kono le pour isiki ila kisikisiro ntafuta la damenuto.
But my question really is, of all documents that can potentially be at the police station, why did you specifically request for the diary?
Kaito mbeme alonko lebe tara police station mune asabu al diary nyimfa kanin.
I did not only request for the diary, I request for an investigation report on the matter.
Man diary nyinda man kaninde hani kisikisi kolu menu keta kuonyimto wo fanan akaito lume kaninde.
But still the question is, why would you want the diary to be brought? What is the specific significance of the diary?
Because this is not recent diaries. And if I allow the investors to come up on the ground, it may take a reasonable time because they are only here for, I don't know, 4 days.
Yeah, but you're missing the point. The point is, what is the significance of the diary to this investigation?
Because I have that belief that some of the activities concerning the missing persons will be in the diaries.
lata nyela ko nin kiskisirla nata jang nin man daari nyin kanin juna ni fata jang pour kana daari kanin wonota be melale adu nata la nyin fana ko nin wo ko be bulonna woto nyim monu men yemanta ten akata wato men wayri ila ko fulota barala woto ila ko be tan safari barala daari le kono wala nan sunata daari la.
Okay, did you see the diary eventually?
The diary was produced and an extract was made for me for that period.
Nata diary nyim bondile adu nte sunata damen na diary nyim kono no bondi akono le wotumo.
Where is that extract?
It was presented because I just want to, but if you want me to.
Go ahead.
Yes. What happened is that when Ba told me that it's with the Honorable Minister, I consulted the IG, Esabaji. But we are together. I'm not quite sure who among us called the former minister. Could either myself or Esabaji. And his response is that you check with Numo Kujabi. Then that's how we stopped. Later on in the day, Numo came and told me that did you ask the minister about the file? Yes. About the diary? I said yes. Do you want to make extract? But I think it was in a safe custody with him. And he made extract for me. I kept that. That is just a day or two before the arrival of the team. So I wanted to submit it on their very day. But they never requested for it. I kept it with me until finally when they completed their distance. And then I submitted it to them upon their request.
Did the diary contain any information? The diary from Bara, did it contain any information about the West African migrants?
Diary nying kono fo ay fem fudi jere me alon ko be sujuri nying Africa tiligin dala banku dingo mon la kula ba.
Me, the activities that I thought would have been in that diary were not there.
Ntela miro to nga mira min kolu men nyanta tarla diary kono imantaraji.
So what information did you glean from that? What conclusion did you draw from that?
Well, I don't know. If you don't know what had happened, it's going to be difficult because to know whether all these names or whatever should be there. Because I was not here. But all that I know is that from Martin's statement, he made mention of Bara. That's why it is important they were arrested and taken to Bara police station.
Martin la kuma kangaluto ay nyim foko biri mutayi isambabara police cordaleto so wala nan hakilo je muta ko janta tallaw kayto ko buko kono le.
Mr. Chair, perhaps this is a convenient time to stop for lunch break.
Fine, Government Council, yes, we would do that, but I want to hold off a little bit on the granting of your request concerning Exhibit 207A. I think we would need a bit more explanation on the genesis of that document. There are only two things clear to me at the moment, and one is witness saying here that he requested this document, and the second is Fakeba Dabo's signature on the document dated 22nd March 2017. The document has got quite a few interpreters. Don't worry about this. This is between counsel and myself and the witness. The document has 10 investigations summarized to a certain extent. A summary of that one. Each one has got 3 subsections one dealing with the description of the investigation itself, that is summarized. The other one dealing with a list of suspects that are in custody, and then the third section dealing with suspects that are at large. One example is the one dealing with the 2 Gambian Americans, and you have a description of the investigation itself, and the second category, those who are in custody, about 3 of them, and then the last one, suspects at large, has 10 individuals mentioned there. On top of that list is former President Yahya Jammeh. I think we would need a bit of explanation on what this document is before we admit it. And I think, Council, when you said if it is accepted, that conditional thing, I suspect you are probably on the same page. So we'll come back to that. And in the meantime, if the witness could just prepare himself to just explain, give us a bit more background on that document before we admit or grant its inclusion in the exhibit. We will take a
thank you very much. I will also want to, because this is, I lose my own copy, and I asked the investigators to send me another copy. It is in their file, they send it. That's why it appears to be, the papers appears to be new. They made a photocopy for me. But I also want to, the information could be photocopied so that I have a copy.
Yeah, it is a bit convoluted, but we will clear that up, and if you can give us a bit of background before we admit it to our list. Council, we will come back to this, and I will come back to you on the question of granting its inclusion.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much, Mr. Chair.
Yeah, sure. Okay. We will take a break and then come back at 3 o'clock. Meeting's adjourned. Thank you all very much.
When we touch down, better broke down.
Gamtel G-Fiber, now you can enjoy super fast internet in gigabytes. G-Fiber is affordable, stable, secured, and accessible to homes, businesses, and enterprises. With Gamtel G-Fiber, the future is speed. Gamtel, creating a brighter future in communication.
That's how she became mine and see that.
For all your pastry, bakery, and quality food, CK Restaurant is the only place to be. We do catering for birthdays, weddings, and all related services. We have all kinds of local foods, American, European, and even beyond. Come and have a taste of our local juice, ebe, and other services. At CK Restaurant, customer satisfaction is our priority.
Love like fire. Wow. Love like fire. Xam ngeen rek affaire bi xam ngeen fan la? Skincare la. 2020 lañ wax de. Waaw. Fii nag mooy Kerr fan Kerr zero tache. Perfect skin. Skincare saa su ne rek niñ ko dee defee rek loo lañ soxlaati rek maanaam bu dee am problème ci seen skin yéen xam ngeen fan la fii ngeen di ñëw suma xarit yeeg am di jàmm yi nga xam ne taas daf lañ sonaloon xam nga doon xeesal ba laka xum éneew ma lañ ko nag waaye just in case comme ni ko gars yi di waxee rek en cas just in case loolu xew xam ngeen fi ngeen di ñëw skin care plus si baax rek la ñoo dox nag ay baax rek fu ne la ñoo dem ci réew mi di lañ indi rek nag products yu baax du Paris du Italie du USA du fi mu nekk nii sax boole nañ ci nag Sweden fu nekk la ñu ne indi les products bu dee tamit nag da nga ñuul rek ñu lay jamaa natural beauty that melanin dripping we do have stuff for you as well emuñ si skin care products rek ñu ngi ci cuub yi tamit fu ne la ñoo jaar in fact sax last commercial bi ñu defoon waxuñ leen woon ne dañoo dox ci ay kawar 9A grade rek nag waaw we do have bundles as well hair si lu ne la ñoo dox ñun ñu ngi ci rafetal jigéen rek luy taaral jigéen rek waaw boo leen di tukki tamit bëggoon rek classic suitcase ñu dañoo dox ci ay Samsonite duñ dee indi any brand of suitcases though other than Samsonite comme li ma dee wax rek boo eggee airport dëri Samsonite dafa am nuñ laa xoolee waaw ngeen lan nag waaw skin ci moom la ñu gën a xamee nag skin care products ci moom la ñu gën a xamee ñu ngi dox tamit benn tey tamit si ay dàlla waaye man nag skin care mooy suma specialty xam nga rek jigéen bu sa xar kanam réglé loo def mu jag am nañ Patricia Reiner Kiwi Eye the whole range Lighten Up Gold Tomatine I mean the list can just go on and on and on and on lépp loo xam ne rek luy taaral jigéen la ci yooyu rek la ñoo dox skin care plus nag emuñ si Gambia rek ñu ngi United States ñu ngi Gambia fii ba pare bu dee yaa ngi anywhere in Europe mun nañ la ko mail within 3 days rek ñetti fan rek nga jot say diw emuñ si loolu rek dañ laa consult tamit balaa ñu laa jaay diw dinañ def a free consultation pour wax la rek exactly li nga xam ne moo méngoo ak sa kanam dinañ leen wax tamit ne rek am nañ perfumes fragrances men's shirts accessories we do dresses as well we do blouses I mean we do shoes name it we do them Skincare Plus 2020 is our year of perfection zero task fi mu nekk nii réew mi fii kenn waratu fi task kenn waratu fi am problème kanam kenn waratu fi am problème picture boo ko amee dafa fekk ne rek ñëwuloo ci place bi fii